Welcome back to the Past the Edge podcast. So this has been on my mind lately quite a bit. What am I optimizing for? So let me break that down. I'm saying, what am I optimizing for in life? There's a lot of times where I'm asking people for advice. Sometimes you receive a lot of advice when you don't even ask for advice, which can be great and sometimes isn't needed. For example, I ask, this summer, I don't know if I should focus on just getting my goals done, work on my channel. There is mainly one response that I get. Oh, well, it's like you're gonna have no time later. You're gonna be so busy. Use this time while you're free and you have options to go live a little, to go have a life, and to build memories. Now, memories, that part's important. Build memories. Why do I need to build memories? So everybody thinks of memories differently. And something I've struggled with a lot is thinking that a lot of people think the same as I do or have the same human condition. But everybody's different. And there's a lot of people who can remember things, past experiences easily, or there's people who don't remember them at all, and everywhere in between. Me personally, whenever I have a big event happen, it's not that memorable. I mean, I remember it, but when I think back about it, it's not like a big thing. Vacations, like they're awesome, but I'm not thinking about them day in, day out, months later. And you're like, oh, well, I guess the vacation wasn't good enough. No, I've had some pretty amazing vacations. Met a lot of great people. Here's the thing. I didn't have such an insane high from an experience that it would give me memory dividends later on in life. And I haven't experienced that anywhere. Yet, I've always been a pretty happy, satisfied guy. It's really odd to think when I have so many other people talking about how they just wish they were back at their vacations, how we have to build memories with our friends, do these wild things and go mess around because we're not going to be able to later in life. And like, one, why can't you later in life? Two, maybe that's not my goal. Maybe I'm not trying to just mess around and that's my point in life. Like, it's whatever you're optimizing for. Am I optimizing for memories or am I optimizing for performance? And then I hear a lot, this is a big argument, is, well, I mean, later on in life, you're going to regret this. You're going to think back and you'll be like, I wish I hanged out with friends more. I wish I messed around and stayed out later and wasn't so strict on myself. But I really don't think that I'm going to be thinking that. Of course, I won't know until I'm there, right? Until I actually look back and regret it. But this time in my life, I have not regretted anything in the past working too much. I've always regretted working too little. And it has been continuing to be like that. And I don't think that later on in my life, I'm going to be like, you know what? I wish I worked less hard. I wish I didn't push myself as much and go fooled around. I doubt it. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like something I want to do. And like, I have good experiences with friends, but like, it's not needed. And I'm not going to go freak out about it if I don't have it. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to sacrifice it now, then you might never have the experience and you might never be able to build those memories. And I'm willing to accept that. I don't necessarily believe in the notion that the life is a sum of your memories. My goal is to see how hard I can work. And that has been the goal. And I don't think my goal will be to have as much fun as I can. So it's definitely something to think about. And it's really conflicting because I say these things to other people with their perspective and worldview, and I just do the same things to others. Just like, well, no, you're going to change your mind later. Later, you're going to look back and you're going to regret this. You're not doing this the right way. You should do it this way. Why should I have to do it anyway? And it's like, oh, well, if you do it that way, you won't be happy. That's what I hear the most. That's what could happen. If you don't follow these notions of the world that you have to build memories, you won't be happy. Okay, I'm happy right now. Probably going to be happy later. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't be. I feel like this concern just doesn't have a lot of logic backed up to it. I'm no professional. I don't know really anything about psychology. I'm not trying to build highlight reels in my mind that I can look back to, but I'm trying to build something I can be proud of. I said earlier on in this podcast that I don't really get those memory dividends later on in life from big experiences. So wouldn't that mean that if I won, if I achieved something great that I worked hard on, that achievement wouldn't give me memory dividends either? Correct. That's okay. I'm not trying to just get to this point in life where I'm just looking back. Why do I even need to look back at all? I mean, you want to learn lessons, and I want to grow to work as hard as I can and be the best version of myself. But building everything in my life and every action around the hope that one day I'll look back on my deathbed and be fulfilled, it just feels like it feels backwards. But it's just an interesting thing to optimize for. Why do we do the things that we do? And I could speculate and make guesses about past experiences. Know for sure about that. There's a couple things that I can assume though. Honestly, I think what it is I'm more positively reinforced when I work harder than when I don't. I finish a video, I feel like I have some higher status as a human being. I feel like I'm just a better person. And it is silly and it's not based off reality, but that's how I feel sometimes. And when I procrastinate and I don't get things done that I said I would get done, I feel fake. I lied to myself. I feel lazy. I feel like a coward. Definition of coward, not doing something because it's unpleasant. There's a lot of times where I did cowardly acts, and for some reason that just doesn't sit well with me. And a lot of the times around these other people who settle for mediocrity and they just stay at that average. Simple example, average grades, average social life. They have a huge fight in the friend group. Some people would block those friends, push them away out of their life because they're not helping them. A lot of people would stick them around and be like, oh, well, it's not that bad. For them, it might not be that bad because they're not trying to build the best social life. But let's say if you want to be the best version of yourself, then everything in your life has to be optimized. Your friend group, your work, your mindset, your health. I want to optimize all of it. I don't want to just be a winner at something. I want to be a winner at everything. I want to win. Mediocrity doesn't win. Whenever we're in that middle ground, a lot of it comes down to not questioning. For example, you go to the grocery store and you're buying a snack and you see that it's super expensive. And you're like, okay, well, I guess this is just the way it is, without considering that there's other stores that have cheaper prices. Very simple example. Everyone thinks about cheaper prices, I'm assuming. But that could apply to everything else. Is something happens, we don't like it, we complain about it, and that complaining is telling us that we're not willing to question what other resources there are. Or we're not willing to understand that there might be other opportunities. Let's say we complain about the weather. It's like, well, I can't control the weather. But you can control how you see the weather. Bad weather doesn't have to be bad weather. Good weather doesn't have to be good weather. Weather is weather. Everyone uses this example. Alex Ramosi used this example amazingly in his podcast. And it really made me think about a lot of things. There's so many words that we use that are really subjective. Good, bad, best, amazing, horrible. These are things that are hard to measure. And if it's hard to measure, we don't fully understand it. And these words get thrown around so easily and so frequently that during conversations, people have totally different conflicting views about something. I see this all the time, every day. You've probably seen this around. They teach someone something and they say, does that make sense? And another person's like, yes, that makes sense. Almost every single time somebody says, does that make sense? The other person doesn't know. That question gives you nothing. If they say yes, you have no idea if they actually understand or they do not. And this happens all the time. So that's a big reason why I don't want to fall into the average. The average tends to complain and tends not to question and optimize everything. There's always a better way to do something. And I want to find it. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. This has been on my mind a lot lately, and it's been really nice to be able to talk about it and break it down into a little bit simpler steps. If you found anything interesting today, please share it to someone else, and it would mean the world. Thank you so much. See ya.